Welcome to this explainer on Curious Orbit. Today, we're exploring a scenario that honestly feels like it's pulled straight out of a Hollywood science fiction thriller, but it's actually firmly rooted in the fundamental laws of astrophysics. I mean, just look up at the sky. The sun is the absolute, undisputed center of our solar system. It's this massive celestial engine providing literally all our light, all our heat, and serving as the gravitational tether that keeps Earth safely tucked in its orbit. Without it, life as we know it simply wouldn't exist. We owe every beating heart, every growing plant, and every single drop of liquid water to that glowing orb. But what if that anchor was just removed? What if the sun suddenly disappeared?
Okay, let's dive into this. It's a terrifying but absolutely fascinating hypothetical scenario. Removing the sun from the equation forces us to strip away literally everything we take for granted about our daily existence.
Now, just to be super clear right off the bat, we are not talking about some violent cosmic event here. The sun isn't exploding in a massive, fiery supernova that would instantly vaporize all the inner planets. And it hasn't slowly fizzled out over billions of years either, gradually expanding into a red giant and swallowing the Earth whole. No, in this specific scenario, the sun doesn't fade away. It just ceases to exist. One moment it's there, holding the entire solar system together, and the next, it vanishes without a trace, like someone flipped a universal cosmic switch. The immediate aftermath of this disappearance brings us to a really fascinating quirk of physics. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That is the exact amount of time it takes for light to travel the 93 million miles from the sun to the Earth. So that 8 minutes and 20 seconds, it acts as a ticking cosmic clock. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that because light has a strict cosmic speed limit, if the sun vanished this very second, we wouldn't even notice. The last rays of sunlight emitted right before the sun disappeared would still be hurtling through the vacuum of space toward us. So for over 8 minutes, everything on Earth would seem completely normal. People would still be sipping their morning coffee, walking their dogs, stuck in traffic on their way to work, completely unaware that the center of our solar system was already gone. We would literally be living in the ghost of the sun's light. But the moment that ticking clock runs out, the reality of our situation hits with terrifying speed. Day would instantly turn to night across the entire globe. Just boom, blackout. Even the moon would vanish from our view. Since our closest celestial neighbor solely relies on reflecting sunlight to shine, once that light is gone, it would just fade into the pitch-black canvas of space. We would be plunged into total, inescapable darkness. But the loss of light is really only half the story, right? We also lose our gravitational anchor. Normally, the sun's immense gravity keeps Earth moving in its nice, predictable elliptical orbit. But if that tether is suddenly cut, Earth wouldn't get sucked into a black hole or anything like that. Instead, it's kind of like letting go of a spinning slingshot. The Earth would continue traveling through space in a straight line, moving at the exact tangential velocity it had the very moment the gravity disappeared. Our planet would instantly become this untethered, wandering, rogue world, drifting aimlessly through the interstellar void. So, with our planet drifting into the dark, Earth would experience a cascading series of massive environmental failures. At 8 minutes, as we know, total darkness falls. Within mere days, global temperatures would begin plummeting dramatically, and without sunlight, plants, which are the absolute foundation of our global ecosystem, would immediately stop photosynthesis. Fast forward a few weeks, and because the plants are dying, the global food chains would begin collapsing from the bottom up. As years pass in the dark void of space, a creeping, inescapable cold would just take over completely. The oceans would begin to freeze, but interestingly enough, they wouldn't freeze solid all at once. They'd freeze from the surface downward, creating an incredibly thick crust of ice across the entire globe. However, nature is remarkably resilient. That thick layer of surface ice on the oceans, it would actually act as a giant insulator. Deep, deep below miles of solid ice, liquid water might remain for a very long time, warmed faintly by the heat radiating from the Earth's own core. It presents this mysterious, hidden world where life, in its most basic forms, might stubbornly hold on in the dark. And this brilliantly illustrates a huge question. What about humanity? Could we survive this? Well, we definitely couldn't survive on the frozen surface, so our strategy would require some radical adaptation. Step 1, we would have to completely relocate human civilization deep underground. Step 2, we would need to harness Earth's internal heat, geothermal energy, and pair it with highly advanced technology to generate power, warmth, and artificial light just to grow food. Life on Earth would become incredibly difficult, constrained entirely to subterranean bunkers. But with enough human ingenuity, extinction isn't 100% absolute certainty. You know, The sun might seem ordinary simply because we see it every single day. We complain when it's too hot, we hide from it in the shade, but it is the sole reason life exists on Earth. Without it, our vibrant, bustling planet would become a frozen, silent world drifting through endless darkness. It's a pretty stark reminder of the delicate, beautiful balance of our solar system.
So I want to turn this over to you. Looking at everything we've just uncovered in this explainer, from the instant loss of gravity to the collapsing food chains and those completely frozen oceans, what do you think would be the absolute biggest challenge for humanity if the sun disappeared? Could we really adapt to living entirely underground? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, be sure to subscribe to Curious Orbit for more deep dives into science, mysteries, and discoveries. Keep questioning the universe around you.